Every man thinks he's ready for an older woman until she tests him. Let's be real, my friend. You text too fast, you over-explain, you buy dinners that buy you nothing. She doesn't chase flattery, she reads energy. You try to win her with talk, when what she feels is presence, timing, and restraint. I'm here to wake you up, not to comfort you. Folks, older women aren't impressed by noise. They notice composure, scent, and social proof. Here's the situation. Most men play the wrong game. They ignore pre-selection miss, her playful teasing, and blank on body language that whispers, yes, slow down, or not yet. They escalate words while neglecting the one lever that matters: touch her mind before her body. That's where calm power lives. Tonight, you'll get a clear path. 10 psychological secrets you can use immediately. How scent quietly flips attraction. How being seen with quality women changes her lens. How to answer a tease without chasing. And how stoic self-control turns tests into invitations. You'll learn what to stop doing this week, what to start doing tonight, and how to hold tension without breaking frame. If you want straight talk that actually works, subscribe and stay close tonight. Stick with me, because this is just the beginning, and the next minutes will absolutely save you years today. Let's get into it. Secrets number 1. She falls for your scent. Let's be real, folks. Most men think attraction starts with looks or money, but for women, especially mature women, it begins with something invisible, something primal. Your scent. You can wear the sharpest suit in the room, but if your scent doesn't speak to her instincts, she won't feel that spark. Older women have lived long enough to know that chemistry isn't random, it's biological. And you either trigger it or you don't. There's science behind this, not guesswork. Studies from the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro found that women have nearly 50% more neurons in their olfactory bulb than men. That means they literally smell emotion. A woman can pick up stress, confidence, health, even your diet, through subtle changes in your natural scent. It's part of how her body decides if you're safe, strong, or worth her time. Most men underestimate that. Take Mark, 52, divorced 2 years ago. He met Laura, 48, at a charity event. He looked great, spoke well, but after their second meeting, she seemed distant. What changed? The first night, Mark wore a light cedarwood cologne, calm, grounded, masculine. The next time, he switched to a cheap citrus spray. He thought no one noticed. Laura did. She later admitted, something about him felt off. It wasn't his words, it was the invisible signal that broke the spell. Scent connects directly to memory and emotion. It bypasses logic and lands straight in the limbic system, the part of the brain that controls desire and nostalgia. When a woman likes your scent, she isn't deciding it's happening. That's why she might think about you days later without knowing why. The scent lingers in her subconscious long after your conversation fades. Now, don't misunderstand this. You don't need to drown yourself in cologne. You need to choose one that aligns with your energy. Stoicism teaches control and restraint, and that applies here too. Choose something subtle, not aggressive. A quiet signature, not a shout. Fragrances with warm base notes, amber, sandalwood, tobacco, or musk, work best because they project calm confidence. You're not trying to seduce her instantly. You're inviting her senses to lean closer. Let's take another example. David, 56, widowed, started dating again after a decade. He told me, I'm invisible out there. I asked what scent he wore. Soap, he said. We picked a clean but magnetic blend lavender with a trace of leather. Within 2 weeks, the women in his art class were leaning in during conversations. One even said, you smell like someone who knows what he's doing. That's not luck. That's biology meeting awareness. Remember, older women value subtle confidence. Loud cologne screams insecurity. The right scent whispers steadiness, maturity, composure, the things she's craving but rarely finds. She's not chasing teenage thrill. She's drawn to a man whose presence calms the room. Your scent should say that before you even open your mouth. Here's the Stoic insight. Attraction built on awareness lasts longer than attraction built on impulse. You can't control her emotions, but you can control what you project, how you smell, how you breathe, how you carry calm into every space. That's the essence of composure, and composure is the new charisma. If this resonates, type, "I've seen this," in the comments. Stick with me because this is just the beginning. The next secret explains why she's drawn to men who lead but never force. Stay tuned, my friend. You don't want to miss this. Secrets number 2. She wants a man who leads. Let's be real, my friend. Most men confuse leading with controlling. They think being in charge means talking louder, deciding faster, and pushing harder. But older women with experience see right through that. What they want isn't dominance, it's direction. There's a difference. A woman doesn't want to be managed. She wants to feel safe following your lead. That means your presence carries calm, not chaos. Your tone brings clarity, not pressure. And the truth is, most men lose attraction because they try too hard to prove something instead of simply embodying it. A Stoic once said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That was Epictetus, and he might as well have been talking about relationships. You don't win her trust by saying you're confident. You win it by showing restraint when things get emotional. You don't win her respect by forcing decisions. You win it by making them with quiet certainty. When a man leads with steadiness instead of ego, she feels something rare: safety in the storm. You see, older women have already lived through the noise, arguments, impulsive lovers, men who talk a big game but collapse when tested. They're not impressed by fireworks anymore. They're drawn to still water. A man who listens before he speaks, who stays composed when she challenges him, who doesn't chase validation because he already has his. That's leadership. It's the calm gravity that makes her relax without knowing why. You give her space to be feminine without ever asking for it. When you lead, you don't need to announce it. You move with quiet confidence and she feels it. It's not about control, it's about stability. The Stoics had a word for this: euthymia. It means a state of inner calm, knowing where you're going and why. Seneca wrote, "If a man knows not which port he sails, no wind is favorable." In relationships, this is everything. When a woman senses you have no direction, she feels the drift. She might like you, but she can't trust you. And attraction without trust is like fire without air, it dies fast. Leading doesn't mean dictating. It means guiding with emotional intelligence. You plan the evening without needing her permission, but you're flexible when life shifts. You express interest without begging for it to be returned. You say no without apology, yes without hesitation, and you never compete with her energy. You complement it. That balance, masculine composure and empathy, is magnetic. A confident man doesn't chase approval, he sets tone. When she tests you, and she will, it's not to fight you, it's to feel your steadiness. Women test not because they want to control, but because they want to feel safe. If you crumble, she can't trust you. If you stay calm, she surrenders to your leadership naturally. Think of it this way. She doesn't want a storm to match her mood. She wants a harbor to return to. Be that harbor. That's what leadership looks like to a woman who has seen enough of life to crave peace over passion. Remember what Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That's your job here. Lead without force, move with clarity. Speak less, decide more. If you understand that type, I want this, in the comments. Stay with me because the next secret will reveal how she feels you before she says it. You don't want to miss this. Secrets number 3. She feels you before she says it. Let's be honest, folks. Women sense energy before they hear words. Long before she says anything, she's already feeling you, your calm, your focus, your confidence, or your insecurity. You think you're being friendly. She's reading your tone, your eyes, and the space you take up. Men miss this because they focus on what to say. But older women, they've had enough conversations to know the truth. They feel first, think later, and speak last. When you meet a woman, she instantly scans you for emotional signals. She's not doing it consciously, it's instinct. If she feels uncertainty, she'll hesitate. If she feels presence, she'll lean in. You don't have to flirt, brag, or overshare. You just have to project composure and quiet intent. Take Michael, 55, and Claire, 51. They met at a local jazz night. He walked up with easy confidence, asked if the seat next to her was taken, then sat down without rushing to fill the silence. He didn't try to charm her with words, he let his calm energy do the work. Claire later told him, "I felt something right away before you even spoke." That's what most men don't understand. It's not about being loud, it's about being grounded. Now let's look at the opposite. Greg, 48, met Diane, 50, at a dinner party. He was polite, well-dressed, had great stories, but he tried too hard. Every time she smiled, he filled the space with jokes, compliments, and nervous laughter. By the end of the night, she felt drained. Not because he said the wrong thing, but because he said too much. The energy was heavy. He didn't let her feel curiosity. Attraction dies when curiosity dies. Here's what's really happening. Studies show that 70% of communication is non-verbal. Older women are experts in this language. They notice subtle shifts, the way you breathe, the way you hold eye contact, the tone you use when you say hello. They don't need to hear "I like you." They feel it. And here's the key. If she senses that you like her too much, too fast, she'll retreat. But if she feels your interest wrapped in composure, she'll want to decode you. So how do you create that energy? Start by being aware of your presence. Breathe slower. Move with purpose. Keep your gestures minimal. Look her in the eyes then. Look away calmly. Let silence work for you. You don't need to fill every second with talk. Silence builds tension, and tension, when handled well, becomes attraction. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." That's true in attraction too. If your mind is anxious or needy, she feels it. If your mind is calm and focused, she feels that too. You don't have to perform confidence, you have to become it. Because women, especially older women, sense the truth beneath the surface. Think of your presence like music. The notes matter less than the rhythm. You don't rush, you let it play. Every gesture, every pause, tells her who you are before you ever say your name. If you've ever felt that moment when words disappeared and the energy took over, type "I've felt that" in the comments. Stick with me, because the next secret reveals the hidden force that triples your attractiveness, the power of pre-selection. Stay tuned, my friend. You don't want to miss this. Secrets number 4. Other women make you irresistible. Let's be real, my friend. Nothing changes how a woman sees you faster than how other women react to you. You can say all the right things, dress sharp, smell good, but when another woman's eyes light up around you, something shifts in the room. The woman you want suddenly looks twice. It's not jealousy, it's instinct. Psychologists call it pre-selection, and it's one of the most powerful forces in female attraction. Here's how it works. A woman's brain is wired to notice social proof, the silent signals that other women have already screened you. It tells her, if they see value in him, there must be something worth noticing. You become safer, more interesting, more desirable without saying a word. That's why a man surrounded by positive feminine energy always seems magnetic. He doesn't chase attention, it follows him. But there's a difference between being admired and being desperate for validation. Pre-selection only works when it's natural, not performed. When your interactions with women are genuine, friendly, respectful, easy, it signals confidence. You're not trying to prove you're wanted. You simply move like a man who already is. That energy is impossible to fake. Think about it. When a man walks into a room and other women laugh at his jokes, lean in to hear him, or simply look comfortable in his space, it creates a ripple. It tells the observers that this man has social intelligence, emotional safety, and self-control. Older women especially read this fast. They've been through enough relationships to recognize real comfort versus forced charm. When she sees you can connect with women without losing your balance, she relaxes. You've passed an invisible test. Now let's connect this to Stoicism. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The same rule applies to attraction. The less you need someone's approval, the more magnetic you become. When you stop craving her attention, you shift from pursuit to presence. That's where pre-selection gains its power. You are the calm center of your social world, not the man chasing every passing glance. So how do you apply this without playing games? Build genuine friendships with women. Learn how to listen without agenda. Be the man who adds value to a room, not one who competes for it. When women trust your energy, they naturally show it. Their laughter, their comfort, their willingness to stay near you, all of it becomes silent testimony to your worth. You don't have to announce it. She sees it. Stoicism teaches composure in the face of emotion. This is emotional composure in practice. Don't brag about attention. Let it exist. Don't chase reactions. Earn them. Your confidence isn't about being seen with women, it's about being seen differently because of the kind of man you are around them. And here's a reminder, attraction isn't a performance. It's the natural byproduct of balance, respect, and self-mastery. When you can enjoy feminine company without losing focus, you're not just irresistible, you're rare. If you've ever noticed this shift type, I've seen this in the comments. Stay tuned, because the next secret reveals why a woman's teasing isn't rejection, it's an invitation. Don't go anywhere. And before we move on, if you want deeper training, exclusive breakdowns and real-world strategies that go beyond YouTube, join our members circle today. As a member, you'll get private lessons on Stoic attraction, emotional control, and masculine psychology. It's not for everyone, it's for men ready to master this. Click join and start leading with purpose. Secrets number 5. When she teases, she wants you. Let's be honest, folks. Most men completely misread teasing. When a woman teases you, you think she's rejecting you. You pull back, you get awkward, or worse, you try to prove yourself. But here's the truth. Teasing isn't rejection, it's tension. It's her way of testing if you can handle playfulness without losing your composure. Especially with older women, they've seen enough fragile egos to know that humor is the easiest way to expose insecurity. When a woman teases, she's saying, "Let's dance." Not literally, but emotionally. She's checking your rhythm, your wit, your self-control. If you flinch or take offense, she knows you're too reactive. But if you laugh, stay calm, or tease her right back, something shifts. The tension turns playful. That's attraction. Take Tom, 51, and Rachel, 49. They met at a wine tasting event in Chicago. Rachel looked him over and said with a smirk, "You look like someone who memorized the wine list just to impress women." Tom didn't freeze. He smiled and said, "No, I just like pretending I know what I'm talking about." She laughed. The energy changed instantly. Why? Because he didn't defend himself, he joined the game. That's how men win these moments, by not needing to win them. Now contrast that with Eric, 54, who met Susan, 52, through mutual friends. She teased, "You seem like the type who still checks his hair in every reflection." He frowned and said, "That's not true." The moment flattened, the spark died. Because teasing isn't about accuracy, it's about energy. When you take it literally, you kill the rhythm. And rhythm is everything in attraction. Older women tease to see if you can keep up emotionally. They don't want a man who reacts like a teenager. They want a man who enjoys the game but doesn't get lost in it. Teasing is their version of flirting seasoned with maturity. It's a dance of respect, humor, and curiosity. When you understand that, you stop overanalyzing and start connecting. The Stoics had a principle called apatheia, not indifference but disciplined emotion. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That's exactly what teasing is, a micro test of your emotional strength. She's not trying to insult you. She's seeing if you can stay grounded when challenged. If you pass, she relaxes. She knows you're not ruled by ego. You become a safe man to open up to a man who can handle her wit, her moods, and her fire. So, here's how to respond the next time she teases you. Don't explain. Don't justify. Smile, slow down, look her in the eyes and say something that flips the energy back to curiosity. If she says, "You probably say that to every woman," answer with "Only the ones who can handle it." Light tone, steady gaze. You're not playing defense, you're co-writing the scene. Remember, teasing means she's engaged. If she wasn't interested, she'd ignore you. Indifference kills faster than rejection. But teasing, that's interest wrapped in challenge. Handle it right and the spark grows stronger. If you've ever been in Tom's shoes and felt that playful tension type, I've felt that. In the comments. Stay with me because the next secret will show you how she speaks volumes without saying a single word. You don't want to miss this. Secrets number 6. She speaks in silent signals. Let's be real, my friend. Words are the last thing a woman uses to tell you what she feels. Long before she says anything, her body has already said it. The glance, the pause, the way she plays with her hair, the shift in her tone, those are her real language. Most men are too distracted, too eager to talk, too focused on what they want to hear. But older women, they speak through silence. And if you can't read that silence, you'll miss everything that matters. You see, mature women have mastered subtlety. They don't throw signals the way younger women do. They don't chase, they don't announce, and they rarely tell you directly what they want. Instead, they create small openings, moments of pause, to see if you're the kind of man who notices. If you're quiet enough to feel the space between her words, you'll see everything she's saying without a single sound. This isn't magic, it's awareness. In fact, research from the University of California found that more than 70% of communication between men and women is non-verbal. That means your success in connecting with her depends less on what you say and more on what you sense. The man who listens with his eyes and his patience sees what the talkers always miss. A Stoic once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That was Epictetus again, reminding us that strength isn't loud, it's observant. In relationships, the truth becomes a superpower. When you stop reacting and start observing, you catch the real cues. The way her shoulders relax when you take the lead, the way she leans in when she feels safe, the way her laughter lingers when she's drawn to you. Here's where most men go wrong. They think reading signals means analyzing. They try to decode every move, every glance like it's a math problem. But reading silence isn't about logic, it's about calm attention. When you're grounded, you can sense the energy in the room. You can tell when she's inviting closeness and when she needs space. You don't ask, you feel. That's what composure gives you, the ability to lead without guessing. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." That's the essence of attraction here. Calm men see what anxious men overlook. When you're calm, you notice her quiet signals, like when she mirrors your posture or when her breathing slows to match yours. These moments tell you more about connection than an hour of small talk ever could. Now, pay attention to the small contradictions. Sometimes a woman's words say, "I'm fine," but her energy says otherwise. Don't argue. Don't chase clarity. Simply acknowledge the feeling with presence. Your calm acknowledgement, your ability to hold space without fixing builds trust. She feels understood without explaining, and that's when attraction deepens into respect. Reading silent signals isn't about manipulation. It's about awareness. It's about being present enough to recognize her rhythm and strong enough to stay centered when emotions rise. Older women value that balance more than anything. They don't want a man who talks them into calm, they want one who is calm. So slow down. Listen with your whole body. Watch the pauses, the eye contact, the half smile. That's her real conversation. When you master that, you'll never need to chase words again. If this makes sense to you, type "I want this" in the comments. Stick with me, because the next secret uncovers how a woman's appearance often reveals what she truly desires. Stay tuned, my friend, you don't want to miss this. Secrets number 7. She dresses to be desired. Let's be real, folks. Women don't dress by accident. Every color, every scent of perfume, every little detail says something, especially older women. They know how to communicate through what they wear without saying a single word. When she walks into a room in that silk blouse, when her perfume lingers after she passes by, that's not coincidence, it's intention. But here's the thing, she's not dressing for every man. She's dressing for the one who notices without drooling, without judging, without saying something stupid that ruins the moment. You see, by the time a woman reaches her 40s or 50s, she understands the power of subtle attraction. She doesn't need to show everything. She only needs to suggest it. Her confidence is quiet, her mystery deliberate. That's why men who chase with words never catch her. The man who notices her energy, her elegance, her effort, that's the one who gets under her skin. Take John 58 and Emily 51. They met at a friend's dinner party in Austin. John said later, "It wasn't what she wore, it was how she wore it." Emily wasn't revealing much, just a deep green dress, simple jewelry, but she moved with ease. She wasn't seeking attention, she commanded it. And John didn't comment on her looks. He simply said, "That color suits your calm." It caught her off guard in the best way. It told her he saw beyond the surface. From that night, their chemistry built itself. Most men miss this. They either ignore her effort or focus too hard on it. Both are mistakes. When she dresses up, she's not always trying to attract you, but she is inviting you to notice. If you fail to acknowledge her presence, she feels invisible. If you overpraise, she feels objectified. The sweet spot, observation without need, a calm compliment with weight, not noise. Something like, "You have good taste." Short, masculine, confident. Let her feel you've noticed without making her uncomfortable. Now let's talk about what's happening beneath all that. A woman's appearance often mirrors her emotions. When she feels desired, she glows. When she feels ignored, she dulls. The way she dresses reflects how seen she feels. That's why your presence matters more than your words. When you recognize her effort, not just her beauty, you feed her feminine pride. That's powerful. Marcus Aurelius said, "What is beautiful in itself does not need praise." But recognition isn't praise, it's awareness. Stoicism teaches balance. Don't be ruled by desire, but don't deny its presence. Seeing beauty without being consumed by it is the mark of control. And older women, they sense that instantly. They can tell when a man's eyes appreciate rather than devour. That's the difference between attraction and attention. So, how do you respond when she's dressed to be desired? Stay composed. Meet her gaze without flinching. Offer a smile that says, "Confidence, not conquest." Don't rush to comment. Let the moment breathe. The more grounded you are, the more she'll lean in. Because to her, the calm man who feels desire but doesn't chase it, that's irresistible. And remember, this isn't about vanity, it's about connection. When she puts effort into her appearance, she's expressing value, hers and yours. Your job is to recognize it like a man who sees beyond fabric and form into intention. If you've ever noticed that quiet elegance that pulls you in type, I've seen this in the comments. Stay with me, because the next secret reveals how touching her mind before her body creates the kind of bond most men never experience. Don't go anywhere, my friend. Secrets number 8. Touch her mind before her body. Let's be real, my friend. Every man wants to touch a woman, but few know how to reach her. You can't touch her body before you've touched her mind, because by the time a woman reaches maturity, physical attraction alone doesn't move her. It's mental, emotional, and spiritual. Older women crave connection that feels earned, not bought. If she doesn't feel seen, she won't feel anything else. Here's what most men don't understand: desire for women begins in thought. It starts with the way you speak, the depth of your curiosity, and the steadiness of your energy. When she feels your calm attention, not your lust, she relaxes. That's when attraction grows. The chase doesn't excite her, understanding does. The moment she realizes you're listening not to reply but to know her, she softens. This isn't about being a nice guy, it's about presence. Stoicism teaches that composure is power. Seneca wrote, "To be calm is the highest achievement of self." The same is true in attraction. When you bring stillness into a conversation, she feels safe. When you respond slowly with purpose, she feels respected. The irony is that calmness is what stirs her the most. You create tension not through speed but through silence and focus. Here's how it works. When she talks, she's not just sharing information, she's revealing rhythm. Every pause, every story is an invitation to sync with her emotional tempo. You don't rush her, you meet her there. That's how you build intimacy without touch. The connection becomes magnetic because it's not forced, it's felt. Now think about what happens when most men skip this. They rush to impress. They flirt before they listen, touch before they see, take before they understand. The result: she feels unseen and shuts down. Older women don't respond to pressure. They've lived through enough empty gestures to recognize the difference between attraction and attention. Attention fades, connection lingers. So how do you touch her mind first? You challenge her thoughts, not her boundaries. You ask questions that reveal depth. You speak less and notice more. You allow silence to do the heavy lifting. A simple look held just long enough can say more than a dozen compliments. You don't chase validation, you build tension with patience. You let her curiosity about you grow, and that's when her attraction becomes emotional, not impulsive. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Apply that here. You can't control her attraction, but you can control your energy. You can stay composed when she tests your focus. You can make her feel seen without making her uncomfortable. That's what separates a man from a boy: the ability to lead with stillness instead of speed. And remember, real intimacy doesn't start with touch. It starts when she feels safe enough to open up, when she senses your presence isn't transactional. You're not trying to get something, you're simply there, aware, engaged, listening. That's when she leans closer, not because you moved in, but because your energy pulled her. So slow down, my friend. Stop chasing the physical. Start cultivating the mental. When you can reach her thoughts, her heart and body will follow naturally. If this truth hits home, type "I felt that" in the comments. Stay tuned, because the next secret reveals the hidden emotional rival you never saw coming: her best friend. You don't want to miss this. Secrets number 9. Her friends compete with you. Let's be real, folks. When you get close to a woman, you're not just dealing with her, you're dealing with her circle. Her friends aren't just background noise, they're part of the ecosystem that shapes how she sees you. And whether they realize it or not, some of them are competing with you. Not for romance, but for influence. Older women especially value connection and community. The people around her, friends, co-workers, confidantes, hold emotional power. If you don't understand that, you'll get blindsided. Here's what most men miss. When a woman's friends notice she's interested in someone new, they pay attention. Some are happy for her. Others, not so much. They test, they tease, they advise, they compare. Sometimes they project their own insecurities onto her relationship. It's not always malicious, it's just psychology. People protect their place in her emotional hierarchy. When a new man shows up, balance shifts, and some of her friends feel it. Take David, 53, and Melissa, 50. They met at a book club and clicked instantly. But a few weeks in, he noticed something strange. Whenever they were together, her friend Karen would interrupt or make subtle jokes about his age or career. Melissa laughed it off, but David could feel the tension. What was really happening? Karen wasn't jealous of David. She was jealous of Melissa's attention. David handled it smartly. He didn't confront or complain. He stayed calm, polite, and confident. He let his steadiness speak louder than words. Over time, Karen's jokes faded because David wasn't playing defense. He'd proven he wasn't competition, he was addition. This happens more than men realize. Women are emotional mirrors for one another. When her friends see her glowing, they want to know why. Sometimes they support it, other times they poke holes in it. You have to understand her friends are reading your behavior, your tone, your consistency. They'll report back everything. That's why composure matters more than charm. You don't need to win them over, you just need to give them nothing negative to hold on to. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." The same principle applies here. Don't react, don't compete, don't defend. The moment you start fighting for validation, you lose presence. Let your actions build trust slowly. Over time, her friends will adjust because true confidence doesn't need approval, it earns it quietly. Another subtle truth, sometimes her friends will test you indirectly through her. They'll plant small doubts. Are you sure about him? Or, he seems distant lately. Don't panic. A man who leads with calm instead of panic wins that invisible battle. When she sees you steady while others question you, her respect deepens. She realizes you're not just strong when things are easy, you're composed when things shift. So what should you do? Stay gracious. Be kind to her friends, but never seek their approval. Be consistent, not performative. If they challenge you, smile and stay grounded. Your calmness does the talking. A man who doesn't defend his worth forces others to acknowledge it. That's quiet power, and older women admire that deeply. Remember, her friends don't decide if she desires you, but they can influence how safe she feels doing so. Your job is to remove doubt, not create more. Presence beats persuasion every time. If you've ever noticed that hidden competition in her circle, type, "I've seen this," in the comments. Stick with me, because the final secret will show you what to do when she pulls away and how to turn that silence into strength. Stay tuned, my friend. Secrets number 10. When she pulls away, don't. Let's be honest, my friend. Every man feels it the moment she starts to fade. The messages slow down, the warmth turns cool, and you begin to sense distance. You panic. You start asking questions, sending long texts, trying to fix what changed. But here's the truth. The more you chase, the faster she runs, especially an older woman. When she pulls away, don't. Stay still. That's where your real power lives. You see, when a woman pulls away, she's not always leaving. Sometimes she's testing. Sometimes she's overwhelmed. And sometimes she's trying to see if your interest is stable or conditional. Older women have lived through enough emotional storms to know the pattern. Most men lose composure when control slips. They beg for reassurance instead of giving reassurance. That's why detachment, not distance, is what attracts her back. This is where Stoic strength comes alive. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." You can't control her behavior, but you can control your reaction. You can stay grounded, centered, calm. When she feels your steadiness in her uncertainty, that calm becomes magnetic. You become the safe point in her emotional chaos. When she pulls away, don't fill the silence, respect it. Don't try to prove your worth, demonstrate it through patience. Every time you resist the urge to reach out impulsively, you remind her of something rare, a man who doesn't need to be chosen to stay composed. That's masculine restraint, and restraint is irresistible. Let me paint a picture. Imagine Mike, 55, dating Laura, 52. Things were going great for a month, then suddenly she grew distant. She said she needed space. Mike's instinct screamed to call, to fix, to ask what he did wrong, but he didn't. He waited. He focused on his own rhythm, his work, his health, his peace. 2 weeks later, Laura texted him, "You're hard to read." Most men would have panicked by now. He replied simply, "I trust what's real, doesn't need chasing." That was all it took. Because calm communicates confidence words never could. This moment is where most men lose frame. They confuse stillness with indifference. But stillness isn't silence, it's presence under control. It says, "I see the shift, but I don't need to react to it." That's what an emotionally strong man does. He doesn't mirror her withdrawal. He stays open but unbothered. He doesn't chase connection. He protects his peace. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters." When she pulls away, your response defines you. Do you crumble or do you stay composed? A woman can feel that energy. The more she senses your emotional control, the more her curiosity reignites. She starts to wonder, why isn't he reacting? Has he outgrown the games? Has he become untouchable? That's when the balance shifts, because mystery always returns to the man who doesn't beg for closure. And here's the secret: most men never learn. Attraction isn't built in pursuit, it's maintained in peace. You don't win her back by proving yourself. You win her respect by proving you're calm. When you can stand still in the silence, she'll feel it. The same way she once felt your scent, your composure, your energy, she'll feel your absence now, not as emptiness but as strength. So when she pulls away, don't chase, don't argue, don't fill the space with noise. Just hold your frame. Because sometimes the man who stands still is the one she ends up walking back to. If this truth lands with you, remember it: real power isn't in holding on, it's in knowing when to stay still. You've just learned the 10 psychological secrets that every man should know about older women, how they think, what they feel, and what truly draws them in. Remember, attraction isn't about chasing, it's about presence, calm, and understanding human nature through stoic strength. When you master that, you stop guessing and start leading with quiet confidence. If you want to go deeper to learn how to apply these principles with precision and real-world strategy, join our members circle today. Inside, you'll get access to exclusive lessons, breakdowns, and advanced Stoic training built for men who are ready to level up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, my friend. Stay strong, stay grounded, and I'll see you tomorrow.